Hello, this video picks up where the last one left off. That's at sentence number 11 in exercise 11 on page 43 of the printed book. So translation to English: Gunehananta rukke chindanta asapurisa dhanam samharitum ussahanti. I'll read it once again. Gunehananta rukke chindanta asapurisa dhanam samharitum ussahanti. So the subject of the sentence is asapurisa, literally the ungood men, the wicked people. The verb at the end is ussahanti, so the wicked people try or strive. Asapurisa dhanam samharitum ussahanti. Samharitum, the root hri, here we are, means to take. The basic meaning is to take, and some hri, to take together or to gather together or to obtain or just to get. So dhanam, wealth. So wicked men seek to gain wealth, to gather wealth. In English we would say by killing and by cutting. But in Pali, as in English, we can use the present participle as well. So gune hananta, the root han, to kill. So gune hananta, killing oxen. Rukke chindanta, so chid. This is where we have an inserted nasal. It's chindati. Not root, sorry. Root chid, present sim chindati with the inserted nasal. And as we know, we use the present stem to make the present participle. So it's not chidanto or chidam, it's chindam or chindanto. Now, using the alternative forms of the present participle, you would have gune hanamana rukke chindamana, or using from our, let's flash the list up in front of you, the comparative table. Sorry, I've just seen that I forgot to share my screen again. Forgot to share the screen again. Yeah, I was just giving you I haven't missed much. The root hri and semhri together, han, to kill, so hananto, chid, chindanti, with the, I've underlined the inserted nasal root chid, present sim chindanti, chindati, and chindanto, present participle. Here again, so using the alternative forms of the present participle for these two verbs, han and chid, we would have gune hananto rukke chindanto. And again, be cautious, this o ending is not our typical nominative singular ending. It is the nominative plural ending reflecting the Sanskrit ending ah. Next sentence, I'll take that away again. Number 12. The Buddha, who is approaching the monastery, sees the disciples discussing the Dhamma. So in English, it's put in a relative clause. It's more of a descriptive relative clause, not the relative clause that defines one. There's the Buddha who is approaching the monastery and another Buddha, the one who's not approaching the monastery. That would be a pure defining relative. Now, which one do you mean? This is a descriptive relative. You're saying the Buddha sees something, the Buddha, while approaching the monastery. So it's just a description of concurrent action here in English. In Pali, it's more usual and more correct to say the Buddha approaching, using present participle, the Buddha approaching the monastery. Well, now, approaching, I'm so sorry, what I've done, I've been doing it the wrong way around. I would delete it, but I haven't yet learnt the rigmarole of deleting while staying on the same video. So I'm going to restart 10 as we should be doing it, Pali to English. So, Viharam upasankamanto buddho dhammam bhasamane savake passati. I'll read again. Viharam upasankamanto buddho dhammam bhasamane savake passati. So, buddho is the subject of the sentence. Buddho, and the verb, main verb, passati. The Buddha sees. What does he see? Savake. That's lay disciples, just disciples. He sees them doing what? He sees them speaking. So he sees them speaking. Use the present participle in the accusative. He sees them speaking. He sees the disciples speaking. So sees them speaking about what? About the Dhamma. So, Dhammam bhasamane savake passati. So the disciples are discussing the Dhamma. Savaka dhammam bhasanti. The disciples who are discussing the Dhamma, you could say bhasamana dhammam bhasamana savaka. He sees the disciples who are discussing the Dhamma. Dhammam, the accusative plural, dhammam bhasamane savake passati. Now, it's the Buddha, while approaching, in English we can say who is approaching, in Pali just approaching the vihara, the temple. We have here the present participle in the nominative singular because it agrees with the buddho in the nominative being the subject of the verb. So viharam upasankamanto, the upasankamanto going up to or approaching. So the Buddha approaching the vihara sees the dhammam bhasamane savake, the Dhamma discussing disciples. Upasankamati, very common verb from the root kram in Sanskrit, which becomes very common, up. Upasankamati. So it means to step. Sankamati is not just the act of stepping, but suggests a step, a completed step. If you step over something and get to the other side, it's sankamati. And upa is towards. So with these two prefixes, upa and sam, it means that he has got as far as, he's or seeking to get as far as. Upa sankamanto is approaching it, but with the aim of fully getting there. So viharam upsankamanto buddho dhammam bhasamane savake passati. Number 13. Rukkhamule nisiditva gitani gayanta kumara nachitum arabhanti. again, Rukhamule Nisiditva Gitani Gayanta Kumara Nachitum Arabhanti. So the subject of the sentence, Kumara, boys or young men. The verb Arabhanti, young men, the young men start. Start what? Nachitum, which is the, oops, actually it's nat in Sanskrit. Nachitum, because in Sanskrit it's natyati. It's the fourth class for the year. So the natyati becomes nachati in Pali, and therefore the infinitive nachitum. So if they begin to dance, nachitum arabhanti. So where are they? Rukumule nisiditva, gitani gayanta. Nisiditva, this is the absolutive, so that would mean having sat down. I mean, they went and sat down at the foot of a tree, Rukamule Nisiditva. So having sat down at the foot of a tree, singing songs, Gayanta, this is now the nominative plural, Gita, Gitani, Gayanta, singing songs, Nachitum Arabhanti. Number 14. Suvarnam labbitum ussahanta manusa babbatas mimavarte khananti. Again, Suvarnam labbitum ussahanta manusa babbatas mimavarte khananti. So manusa, the men, khananti, the men dig. They dig what? Avarte, pits, accusative plural. Avarte khananti, they dig pits. Where? On the mountain, Babbatasmim. So the men dig pits on the mountain. And what's the background to it? Suvarnam labhitum ussahanta. So seeking or trying, present participle, to Suvarnam labhitum, to get gold. Suvarnam gold, labhitum, to get, to obtain. Number 15. Udakam patumichanto siho udakam paryesamano vanam hicharati. Udakam patum ichanto siho udakam paryesamano vanam hicharati. So the subject of the sentence is Siho, the lion. Siho, what's he doing? The verb charati. So the lion is walking or moving. Where is he moving? Vanamhi, locative. You could also, instead of vanamhi, of course, have vane charati, or vanasmi. So he's walking in the wood, moving in the forest, doing what? Paryesamano, looking for udakam, present participle paryesamano. So the lion is moving in the forest, looking for water. And for what purpose? That's at the very beginning. Udakam patum. So patum, that's the root to drink. Infinitive, patum, same in Sanskrit and Pali, but also Pali can make an infinitive, as we saw before, from the present stem. So pivati, pivitum. So pivitum is Pali only, it's an infinitive made from the present base. So udakam patum ichanto siho udakam paryesamano vanam hicharati. Number 16. Vetanam labhitum akankamano naro rajikaya dusani dovati. Read again. Vetanam labhitum akankamano naro rajikaya dusani dovati. Naro dusani dovati. The man washes clothes. Rajakaya, dative there, dative of the person you're doing it for. So he washes clothes for the washerman. So vetanam labitum akankamano. Akankamano. So aspiring, seeking, hoping, wishing. Vetanam labitum. Vetanam, we have that in the vocabulary, just a wage or a living, way of making a living. So in order, vetanam labhitum. So in colloquial English, we'd say that the man washes some clothes for the washerman in order to earn something, in order to earn a bit of money, in order to earn his keep, earn a living. Number 17. Samarnehi bhasanta upasaka satchamadhigantum ussahanti. I'll read again. Samarnehi bhasanta upasaka satchamadhigantum ussahanti. So the upasaka, the lay devotees, ussahanti, are seeking, are striving, attempting, satcham adhigantum. Adhigantum, to literally to gantum, to go, adhigantum, to go onto, which is how expressed in Pali and Sanskrit, to understand. They are seeking to understand the truth. Now, the use of the present participle here, samanehi bhasanta, this bhasanta from bhasati, bhasanto, bhasanta, this use of the present participle, it's actually got more than one potential use in this sentence. One, the normal use of it, is just to say what is going on at the same time. The upasaka samanehi bhasanta, these upasakas, the lay disciples, while speaking with the samanas, while speaking with the monks. But it can also have a purposive feel to it. In other words, by speaking with the monks, they seek to understand the truth. So it's not expressly there, but it's an alternative meaning of it, or just an extended meaning of it. So that these upasaka, satcham adhigantum usahanti, are seeking to understand the truth. Samanehi bhasanta, speaking to the monks, meaning by speaking to the monks. This samanehi, it's the instrumental. This is the instrumental without the postposition. You could also have samanehi saha bhasanta. That would be without any change of meaning, speaking with the monks. Number 18. Magge sayantam sunakam udakena sinchitva darako hasati. Magge sayantam sunakam udakena sinchitva darako hasati. We have here the boy playing a nasty prank on the poor dog. Darako, the boy hasati, the boy laughs. Having done what? Sunakam udakena sinchitva. So sinchitva, having splashed or sprinkled. Having sprinkled what? Accusative, sunakam, having splashed the dog. Udaka, water, udakena, with water. So sunakam udakena sinchitva, splashing the dog with water. Darako hasati, the boy laughs. Which dog? What was the dog doing? Magge sayantam, accusative, nominative, sorry, masculine accusative of the present participle here. The Magge Sayantam Sunakam, the dog who was sleeping or lying in the road. So Magge Sayantam Sunakam, the in the road lying dog, Udakena Sinchitva, with water having sprinkled, Darako Hasati, the boy laughs. Number 19. Silang Rakhanta Sapurisa Manusaloka Chavitva Devaloke Uppajanti. Read again. Silam Rakhanta Sapurisa Manusaloka Chavitva Devaloke Uppajanti. So the subject of the sentence, Sapurisa, good people, virtuous people. Uppajanti, so arise. In Sanskrit, where are we, 19? In Sanskrit, utpadyante, it's an atmanepada verb in Sanskrit, so utpadyante, not utpadyanti. But in Pali, uppajanti. So from the pad, root pad, utpad, to arise or take birth, so uppajanti, they take birth. Here, of course, it refers to being reborn. So, where are they reborn? Good men are reborn where? Deva loke, compound word here, Deva loke, in the God world, the heavenly realm. Having done what? Manusaloka Chavitva. So there's the Manusaloka and the Devaloka, the human world, Loka, and the Deva world. So Manusaloka, in the ablative, Chavitva, literally this root in Sanskrit, Chu, Chavati, Pali, Chavati. The root meaning is to fall, the basic meaning, but it also means one's life to end. So, Manusaloka Chavitva, literally having fallen or having died from, you chav from something. So, Manusaloka in the ablative, having died from the human realm. Manusaloka Chavitva. Devaloke, locative, uppajanti, take birth. So the Sapurisa, which Sapurisa, or what have they been doing? Silam Rakhanta, Rakhati, to protect or preserve, keep or guard. Silam Rakhanta, Sapurisa, the good people, Silam Rakhanta, keeping virtue, or who keep, or who maintain, or who preserve virtue, or the precepts. Number 20. Dhanam samharitum ussahanto vanijo samudantaritva dipangantumarabhati. Read again. Dhanam samharitum ussahanto vanijo samudantaritva dipangantumarabhati. So the subject of the sentence, the Varnijo, the merchant, main verb, arabhati, starts doing what? Gantum, arabhati, starts going. Then deepam, the island, accusative of motion. So the merchant, Varnijo, deepam gantum arabhati, starts going towards or travelling towards the island. Having done what? Samudam taritva. The tarati, to cross, taritva, having crossed. So the merchant, having crossed the sea, begins to go to the island. That sounds a bit odd, because if he's going to the island, if he has already crossed the sea, then he can't start going to the island. Presumably he's crossed the sea to get to the island. So what the taritva means here is that the merchant is getting as far as the island by crossing the sea. So it's more of a verb of instrumental, not the instrumental case, of course, but the verb of instrumentality. He's going to the island by crossing the sea. So he is starting the process of crossing the sea to get to the island. So the taritva is more of a concurrent verb here. So the varnijo samuddam taritva gantum. So he's seeking to gantum ussahati, or gantum arabati here, starting to go. How is he going? By crossing the sea. So it's more as an absolutive of by doing so and so. He's got to finish crossing the sea and then get to the island. So you could also interpret the gantum here as not just making the journey, but the point of arrival. So just bear in mind here, it's not that he does one thing then the other, but he's going to the island. How? By crossing the sea, and you can put that in the absolutive. Samudam taritva, by crossing the sea, he starts to go to the island. So he starts to go to the island. How? By crossing the sea. Samudam taritva. So what's the concurrent circumstance there? What's going on at the same time? Or why? Explanation of why he's doing it. Dhanam samharitum ussahanto, seeking to dhanam samharitum, to acquire wealth, to gather wealth. So dhanam samharitum ussahanto varnijo samudam taritva deepam gantumarabhati. Number 21. Gone pariye samano vane ahindranto kassako siham disva bhayati. I'll read again. Gone pariye samano vane ahindranto kassako siham disva bhayati. The subject of the sentence, kassako, the farmer. The verb bhayati, the farmer is afraid. Why is he afraid? Sihan disva, disva having seen, sihan disva, having seen a lion. So having seen a lion, the farmer is afraid. So what was the farmer doing at the time? Gune pariye samano, looking for his cows. Vane ahindanto, wandering or roaming in the forest. So the image we have here is the farmer, his cows have strayed off, he's looking for them, he's gone into the forest to look for them, sees a lion and is afraid. So gone pariye samano vane ahindanto kasako siham disva bhayati. Number 22. Rukhesu nisiditva palani bhunjamana kumara gitangayanti. Rukhesu nisiditva palani bhunjamana kumara gitangayanti. So kumara gitangayanti, the boys are singing a song, or the young men are singing a song. Doing what? Palani bunjamana, eating fruits. Was there any preceding action? Yes. Rukesu nisiditva, having sat on trees. So the imagery here, the boys went sat on the seas, are eating fruit, singing songs. So Rukesu nisiditva, having first sat up in the trees, and are now gitangayanti, they're singing songs. Palani bunjamana, present participle. while eating fruit. Number 23. Chittam pasiditva dhammamadigantum ussahanta nara sagge uppajjanti. So nara, men or people, sagge uppajjanti. Sagga is heaven. Uppajjanti are born, or here meaning reborn, they take birth in heaven. Nara sagge uppajjanti. People are reborn in heaven. What kind of people, or doing what? Look for the present participle, ussahanta. So dhammam adhigantum ussahanta, striving to understand the Dhamma. Chittam pasiditva, having pleased or having calmed their mind. This pasidati is the combination of being tranquil and calm, and also of being pleased. It embodies both those meanings. So with tranquil mind, chittam, having tranquilized their minds, chittam pasiditva, dhammam adhigantum ussahanta, ussahanta, seeking, striving, attempting, dhammam adhigantum, to understand the Dhamma, nara sagge uppajjanti, people are born, reborn in heaven, or the celestial world, literally heaven. Actually, literally, let's go over here. Oops, come on, turn the page. Sorry, 23. Pali Sagga. In Sanskrit, it is Swarga. Now, Sva means self, and the suffix ga, or from the root gum, we can have as the final member of a compound the shortened form ga, as in, for example, kaga, literally space going, means a bird. An old Vedic form for self is swar, swarga, which is swarga in Pali Sagga. It means the self-going. It's the place where the self, the place where your true inner self wants to go. That's the idea of heaven, where you truly want to be. That is the Swarga Sagga. Number 24. Tundena pitakamha macham akadhitum ichanto kako sunakamha bhayati. Tundena pitakamha machama kadhitum ichanto kako sunakamha bhayati. The subject of the sentence is the kako, the crow. That name in Pali and Sanskrit actually derives just from the sound that the crow makes. We talk about the core, C-A-W, the core of the crow. So the kaka represents the sound a crow makes. So the kako, what does he do? The verb bhayati is afraid. Now, if you're afraid of something, that can take either a genitive or an ablative of what you're afraid of. So sunakamha, it's the ablative here. So kako sunakamha bhayati is afraid of the dog, or is frightened off by the scared by the dog. So what was he doing at that time? It was ichanto, wanting or trying. Sometimes it means not wanting to, but about to do it. Wanting to do what? Macham akadhitum. Akadhati, to pull out, or to snatch away. Macham akadhitum ichanto. Ichanto, wanting. Akadhitum, to snatch out. As I put in the, wanting to pull a fish, yeah. Macham, a fish. With what and from what? Tundena, with the beak. Note in Sanskrit and Pali would just say, we'd have to say with its beak in English, but you wouldn't say, they'd just say with beak, with the beak. Tundena. Pitakam ha, the pitaka, basket. Pitakam ha, from the basket. So with its beak, from the basket, a fish to pull, seeking. The crow of the dog is afraid. So the crow's trying to get this fish out of the basket with its beak, sees the dog and is scared off. Tundena pitakam ha macham akadhitum ichanto kako sunakam ha bhayati. Number 25. Ketam kasitva bijani vapanto kasako dhanyam labhitum akankhati. Ketam kasitva bijani vapanto kasako dhanyam labhitum akankhati. The kasako, the farmer, akankhati, desires or aspires towards. Dhanyam labhitum. Labhitum, to get, obtain. Dhanyam, wealth. So the farmer, akankhati, aspires. Dhanyam labhitum, to gain wealth, become rich. How? Ketam kasitva bijani vapanto. So vapati is to sow, isn't to sow seeds. Bijani vapanto, sowing seeds. What's he done before sowing seeds? Ketam kasitva. So the farmer decides, look, I'm going to plough the field, then sow seeds in order to get rich. So that we put that, having ploughed the field, sowing seeds. Ketam kasitva bijani vapanto kasako dhanyam labhitum akankhati. Number 26. At 26. Suryasa alokena lochanehi rupani pasanta manusa loke jivanti. Again, Suryasa alokena lochanehi rupani pasanta manusa loke jivanti. Subject of the sentence, manusa, people. People do what? Jivanti, people live. Where do they live? Loke jivanti. Doing what? Rupani pasanta. Rupam, stem form rupa, we know means a form. We have the Buddha rupa, literally the Buddha form for the Buddha image, the Buddha statue. And also used as objects or things. Rupani pasanta, seeing things. How? We've got two instrumentals here. Lochanehi, lochana means an eye. 26. Lochana. With their eyes, the ehi instrumental plural. So seeing forms, rupani pasanta lochanehi, with their eyes. How? Suryasa alokena. So the light, aloka. The Surya, the sun, Suryasa alokena, by the light of the sun. So Suryasa alokena lochanehi rupani pasanta manusa loke jivanti. Now this root lok which is actually cognate with our English word look, it surfaces with various meanings in different forms, different meanings, and we got 3 of them in this one sentence. So the loka, as in we had above, deva loka, the divine world, the world of the gods, manusa loka, our world, the world of people, the human world. It derives from the loka, that which can be seen, that which can be looked at. In other words, everything visible, the world. That's how loka came to mean world. And aloka, that by which one can see, the aloka is one of the words for light. That's why suryasa alokena, by the light of the sun. And your lochana, the katacha, change, as in English we have a few remnants of it, like speak and speech, verb speak, noun speech, verb break, noun breach, loka lochana. Lochana is that with which one looks, and therefore it's another word for the eyes. So we've got this root lok in 3 forms here. Suryasa alokena lochanehi rupani pasanta manusa loke jivanti. Number 27. Rukkamule nisiditva shivram sabbantena samanena saddimupasaku bhasati. So the upasako, the upasaka, the lay disciple, bhasati, speaks. Who with? Samanena saddhim, with the monk. So upasako samanena saddhim bhasati. The lay disciple speaks with the monk. Samanena, of course, in the instrumental, samanena saddhim, with the monk. Now, with the monk who is doing what? Sibbantena, chivaram sibbantena. Sibbantena, who is sewing, with the monk sewing the robe. Chivaram sibbantena. So, with the monk who's sewing his robe. So, Rukkamule nisiditva chivaram sibbantena samanena saddhimupasako bhasati. Rukkamule nisiditva. Having sat literally at the tree root, at the foot of the tree. Does it mean that the monk sat down at the foot of the tree and started sewing his robe, and then the lay disciple spoke to him? Or does it mean that the monk was sewing his robe and the lay disciple then sat at the foot of the tree and spoke to him? Well, actually, it's ambiguous. It could mean either of those 2 things. We've had the rule in an earlier lesson that the absolutive, the subject of the absolutive verb has to be the subject. I think the rule was given as it has to be the subject of the main verb. So you can't say somebody else did something, then I did this. You can't use an absolutive there, because the absolutive is the same person, is the subject of all of those verbs. But here we have 2 verbs. We've had the finite verb, the main sentence, the main verb of the sentence is bhasati. So if you follow that rule strictly, well, bhasati is the main verb, so nisiditva, it has to be the same subject. The person who bhasati, who is speaking, is the same person nisiditva, who having sat down. However, for these purposes, the sibbantena counts as a verb. So the monk who, having sat down at the root of the tree, is sewing a robe. So this absolutive could refer to either of those. So there is an ambiguity here. So it's given in the key, the translation of the key, a lady of which he speaks with the monk sewing a robe seated at the foot of the tree. Well, yes, okay, that's fine, but this translation given in the key doesn't reflect the ambiguity in the Pali sentence. Number 28. Rukkhamule sayantasya yachakasya kaye pannani patanti. The subject pannani, leaves, pannani patanti, the leaves fall. They fall where? Kaye, on the body. Yachakasya kaye, on the body of the beggar. Which beggar? The Rukkhamule sayantasa. Sayantasa, the beggar who is sleeping. Sayantasa yachakasa, of the beggar who is sleeping. Rukkhamule, at the foot of a tree. So, Rukkhamule sayantasa yachakasa kaye pannani patanti. Leaves fall on the body of the beggar sleeping at the foot of the tree. Number 29. Varnijassa moolam dattva asse labhitum amacho ussahati. Varnijassa moolam dattva asse labhitum amacho ussahati. And it's translated in the key as in the printed book, separate book. Having given money to the merchant, the minister tries to get horses. That actually is a bit of a crude translation of what that is actually quite a logical sentence. Because I mean, I don't understand this to mean that the merchant first of all gives away money. Sorry, the minister first gives away money and then tries to get horses. The imagery I have from this sentence, which is much more sensible in Pali than the translation in the key, is that the minister wants to buy some horses, and he's seeking to achieve that purpose by offering money to the merchant. So clearly the merchant has some horses, the minister wants horses, he wants to get hold of some horses by paying the merchant for them. So the dattva here, dattva, having given, I interpret this in this sentence to mean not a sequence of events. He does one thing, dattva, he gives, then he seeks. This is more the absolutive of purpose. So he's wanting to get horses by paying the merchant, by giving money to the merchant. So amacho, the minister, ussahati, seeks, asse labhitum, to get horses. How? Varnijassa moolam dattva, literally having given, but by giving, moolam, money, varnijassa, to the merchant. Note here this word moola. Moola means both root, well the original meaning is root, and also means capital or money. So varnijassa moolam dattva doesn't mean he's offering the merchant a root in exchange for horses. He's offering the merchant moolam, money, in exchange for horses. And number 30. Kiram pivitva hasamano darako pattam manchasmin kipati. Kiram pivitva hasamano darako pattam manchasmin kipati. So darako, the child, the verb kipati, he throws what? Pattam, the bowl, and he throws the bowl from where? Manchasmim. Sorry, not from where, onto where. It's I misread as the ablative, it's the locative. So if he threw the bowl off the bed, it would be mancham ha kipati, but he's throwing it onto the bed. Pattam manchasmim kipati, he throws the bowl. Darako pattam manchasmim kipati, the child throws the bowl on the bed, or onto the bed. Having done what and doing what? Kiram pivitva, having drunk milk, laughing the child throws the bowl onto the bed. So, kiram pivitva hasamano darako pattam manchasmim kipati. And that concludes the Pali into English exercise for lesson 11.